The race is going to start in about 5 minutes here. This will be the men's 1980 beer bike race. My name's Eric Sisson. I'll be doing the lap-by-lap or play-by-play or whatever here. With me is Dave Tuttle, who will be giving us interesting bits on history and rules and other odd, curious facts about beer bike race. I should probably say that you are listening to KTRU Houston. This is Classics on the Radio, being interrupted by the beer bike race, which is made possible by the Rice Campus store, like many of the other fine things we do. Bit on the weather report out here. It's getting a little chilly out here. About an hour ago, it was 64 degrees. I think it's a little closer to 60 now. The wind is coming out of the north about 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts. Wind on this track is usually coming out of the south. That's what most of these riders train for, so this will probably affect their strategies, right, Dave?
Yes, they'll be starting into the wind instead of having the wind at their back, and going down the back stretch, they will have the wind at their back, so which means they might have a bit of trouble starting, but going around the track will be easy, and it might help them to stop when they get to the end.
Okay, we should once again go over just what the race is doing here. There are 7 teams this year. They're Baker College, Hanson College, Lovett, Sid Richardson, Weiss, and Will Rice colleges. And this year, the Graduate Student Association is fielding a team. I believe they did last year, too. Anyway,
this is the first time the GSA has sponsored a team, and
okay.
it's, I believe it's all male. There was a bit of a problem about having women on the men's teams, as has been the practice in the past. But I believe that most of the GSA team is male, with a few female catchers or starters.
Okay, briefly, we'll run down over the rules. Each college or graduate student association has a beer team and a bike team. At the start of the race, the first beer drinker on each team will start chugging 24 ounces of warm, flat beer. As soon as that person has finished chugging, then the first bike rider on his team can cross the starting line. That bike rider will go twice around the oval track out here. That'll be 2 half-mile laps, approximately. Once that rider finishes his turn, he comes in and crosses the finish line. The second chugger can start chugging his 24 ounces of beer. Once he finishes, then the second bike rider can cross the starting line, and it goes on like that. It's just a simple relay. Obviously, the first team to finish wins the race. There are different kinks in this. The starting lane and the ending lane is the same one. It's about 40 or 50 yards long. When, say, the second rider comes in, he is caught by 2 members of the pit crew because just about 20 or 30 yards ahead of him, 2 other members of the pit crew are holding the bicycle for the next rider, and they move him across the starting line since he's starting in a rather high gear and needs some push to get going. There are some penalties that can affect how things go, Dave. Will you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes, basically the penalties are 7 seconds and are assessed during the race. If a biker crosses the start line before the chugger preceding him has finished his chug, there are several judges at the beer tables and at the starting line, and they will assess a 7-second penalty after the biker has come around before the next chugger.
What happens then is once the biker comes in, then it's 7 seconds before the next chugger can start, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Also, if a chug starts before the biker has crossed the finish line, it will be 7 seconds, and I believe that is also assessed at the next chug.
Okay, the race is going to start in just about a minute here. The official start of the race will be a gun fired by Dr. Norman Hackerman, who is the president of Rice University. He's down here just in front of us. You can hear the crowd chanting for their various teams here. Once again, there are 7 teams. Let's see, there's Team Weiss chant down there just a little bit ahead of us. There are various cheers for and against other colleges. Some ones directed towards Sid Rich, which we will not repeat, but which you may hear in spite of us later anyway.
Yes. They seem to be getting ready right now.
Yes, the throwers have their riders already. Will Rice is starting well up front. They're apparently planning on a quick start.
Here's the countdown.
There's the count. 4,
5, 4,
3, 2, 1. There's the gun. And Graduate Student Association crosses first. Next, Lovett, Weiss, Hanson, Will Rice, Sid Richardson, Baker going last. Going into the first turn, graduate student team, GSA's, well up in front, about 8 or 10 lengths back to Weiss. Then Lovett, Hanson, Will Rice just taking over after that. Sid Richardson, Baker well at the back. Going into the out of the first turn, there'll be 4 turns here, 2 turns per lap. On the back stretch of the first part here, GSA still in front. Weiss making a charge. Coming up, Weiss taking over the lead. GSA in second place. Then Lovett, Hanson, Will Rice, Sid Rich. Back about 8 or 10 lengths is Baker. Coming out of the second turn here, finished the first half of the first rider. Weiss pulling well ahead. Then Will Rice in second place. There's a cluster with GSA, Lovett, and Sid, and Hanson all in back there vying for third. Coming up here in front of the booth, it's pretty tight. Sid Rich just takes over first. Weiss, Will Rice, Hanson, Lovett, GSA, Baker. Going into the third turn there, it is still Sid Rich in the lead. Will Rice in second place. Hanson, Lovett taking over first. The Weiss rider has had a problem. He just thrown his bike. He is running over and picking up the trash bike. You want to tell us a little bit about trash bikes, Dave?
Yes, trash bikes are in case the bike the biker is on has a mechanical problem or if there is an accident or something, and he just picks it up and gets on it and tries to get back into the race. Unfortunately, he is very, very far behind right now.
Yes, these are bikes that are resting just inside the infield for such emergencies that apparently just happened to Weiss. Going into the fourth turn up there, Sid Rich is in the lead, followed by a couple of lengths. Lovett. Back there, Will Rice and Hanson fighting out for third and fourth. Baker now in fifth. GSA sixth, and Weiss well at the back. Okay, Lovett just took over first place there. It's still fighting out with Sid. Will Rice and Hanson fighting out for third and fourth. Baker by themselves at fifth. GSA at sixth, and Weiss just coming into the turn. Into the first runner, it is Lovett. Sid Rich coming up here. Hanson, Will Rice crossing. Lovett gets crossed first, then Sid Rich. They keep that order. Baker, first rider, coming in. Hanson starts third. There's apparently a penalty on Will. There goes Will Rice. Then Baker. Will Rice got off to a late start. I don't know if there's a penalty or not.
The first two teams got very, very good start.
There goes the GSA rider, and the Weiss first rider is just now coming in. On the back stretch there in the first part of this lap, Lovett well in the lead, about 5 or 6 lengths ahead of Sid Rich. About 12 or 15 back to Hanson in third, about as far back to Will Rice. There goes Weiss, second rider. 5 or 6 back to Baker. 15 or so back to the GSA, and the whole length of the turn back to Weiss in last place. Coming out of the second turn up here, Lovett ahead about 6 or 7 lengths of Sid Rich. Back 15 or 20 to Hanson, about that far to Will Rice. 5 or 6 back to Baker. The Lovett and Sid, which came in first on the first 2 laps, did time to coming in front of us. Lovett in first, Sid Rich charging. Sid Rich is now in first place, just taking over Lovett, but still neck and neck up there, just passing in front of us. Hanson in third place. Upcoming is Will Rice, Baker, GSA, pretty far back, just coming out of the turn, and then Weiss. Coming out of the third turn here, Sid Rich is just the length of the bike ahead of Lovett. Long way back is Hanson, then Will Rice, then Baker. Here comes the GSA member. Weiss is still well back there. Going on the back stretch of the second part of the second lap, second run here. Is Sid Rich and Lovett Sid Rich just a little bit ahead. Lovett making a charge. They're going into a headwind there on the back stretch. Lovett just takes over first place. Sid Rich falling back. Further back on the stretch, Will Rice just takes over third from Hanson. Baker coming up fast on Hanson, but still a little bit back. Further back, GSA, and then Weiss. Coming out of the fourth turn here on the second rider, second out of 10. Lovett in first place, about 5 or 6 back to Sid Richardson. Will Rice, Hanson well back. Okay, Lovett and Sid, their rider, second rider's just crossed. They're chugging. There goes the third Lovett, third Sid Richardson rider.
Very even chug for both teams on that. They came out just about the way they went in.
Okay, Sid Rich just picked up a penalty on that. They started too early.
Oh.
That'll cost them.